Colleagues, I want to welcome you to today's sitting.
On Tuesday, 6th February 2024, the Leader of the Opposition in Parliament, Honorable Joel Senyonyi, called on the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to increase the capitation grant for government-aided primary schools.
This money has not gone to the schools, as should be. In fact, some schools have yet to open, the UPE schools that is, because capitation grant is money that is meant to empower the operations of the school. Pay utility bills, electricity, water, scholastic materials, the general operations of these schools. So once this money is not availed to the school, how do we expect them to operate?
In quarter 3, we released 134 billion for capitation grant. This money was released to the districts, the various local governments. What we expect the local governments to do after the release is to warrant. And the warrant, sometimes the districts take their time.
In the sitting, government was urged to take affirmative action to improve the livelihoods of Ugandans in the Karamoja sub-region, including providing adequate options for water production as well as ensuring security in the region.
Access for water. Expedite the completion of the ongoing construction of water reservoirs. Prioritize the maintenance and rehabilitation of the existing water reservoirs. Prioritize the desilting of the existing water reservoirs where need be. Restoration of peace and security. We recommend the following: ensure sustainable redeployment and deployment in the sub-region to address the challenges of the withdrawal of some of the UPDF officers and areas which were not previously covered. Broaden the peace-building initiatives to include the youth, the elderly, and the neighboring regions of Karamoja.
We have always urged for water for production. Water for production, especially irrigation. If government would actually invest money in irrigation schemes for Karamoja to provide Karamojans with food, I think many of the challenges in Karamoja would be reduced, including the insecurity now.
Parliament also observed a moment of silence in honor of former President of Namibia, Hage Geingob, following his death on Sunday, 4th February 2024.
His Excellency Hage has been a friend to some of our people here, most prominent, a very, very close friend to Ndugu, most prominent, a very close friend to Ndugu Rugunda, our former Prime Minister, to whom he was a supervisor when Ndugu Rugunda was working in Namibia as a doctor. Our President has sent condolences. I want to take this opportunity in this plenary to extend our heartfelt condolences to the people of Namibia and to the family of His Excellency the President.
A lesson we would draw from the demise of Namibia's beloved president would be about the superb healthcare services, particularly the state-of-the-art cancer institute in Windhoek. Windhoek is the capital of Namibia. Is where this late president and other presidents have been actually hospitalized and sick, have sought superb medical care. It would be a lesson for us to think twice about increasing the budget of health, this sector of health.
On Wednesday, 7th February 2024, the Deputy Speaker, Thomas Tayebwa, criticized public and private secondary school owners for charging exorbitant school fees.
Some of the school fees being charged, they are totally prohibitive, extremely. On Tuesday, I had requested the Minister of Education to bring a statement with regard to the issues we had raised. This is one of the issues I would want the Minister of Education to capture, so that we look into it and measures being put in place, including punitive measures for those schools which have defied government directives. This is a very, very critical matter which I want us to give the due attention.
During the sitting, debate on the Sugar Amendment Bill 2023 was deferred after the House failed to agree on the funding of the proposed Sugar Council, which, if the bill is passed, would be the regulator of the sector.
In the implementation of the law, it became a bit difficult to put the board in place. First, we did not have the resources to put the board in place. Secondly, after consultation with the millers, the farmers, and other stakeholders, just a second back, and other stakeholders, it became apparent that actually, and also looking at the models in other countries, it became apparent that having a council, a stakeholders council, which actually has the powers to license, which has equal powers by the farmers and the millers, is a better model than having a board governed by government.
The Honorable Minister, the reason he gives for doing away with the board is a very flimsy reason, if I must say. You cannot say we don't want a board because government does not have money for it. To say government does not have money for it, it is to say we don't regard it important. And that means you are setting it from important areas to less important. And sugar is a very important thing in this country.
Chair, I agree with my colleague that we retain the board and not the council. Reason being, Chair, that the board should be funded, by the way, from the consolidated fund. Government has not helped the sugarcane outgrowers. They have struggled to be where they are, and this is the time for government to come up and fund this board. Right, Honourable Speaker, when it comes to the council, it's going to be funded by the millers. That means the outgrowers will be under the mercy of the millers.
Since the sugar sector or the sugar industry contributes a lot, the sugar industry contributes a lot towards the government funds, then government should look for money to facilitate the board. Therefore, on that clause, Chair, I stand by saying that we should retain the board other than having the council.
The two major questions are, number one, does government have a power to create a private entity and give it financial obligations which it must meet? Number two, government has brought a law, and in the law it is saying it does not have money. Therefore they cannot have a board because they will not be able to finance it. And with that, it means if we are to retain the board, we shall have amended the clause of government, and we shall be saying government go and charge on the consolidated fund. Would that constitute violation of Article 93 of the Constitution? You see, I've said I have questions. Okay? And those questions, I don't want answers from any of you first. No. Those questions, I need answers from the Attorney General.
On Thursday, 8th February 2024, the Minister for Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Honorable Frank Tumwebaze, said livestock farmers will meet the cost of purchasing vaccines for the foot and mouth disease following a cabinet decision.
Government will no longer provide FMD vaccines for free as a public good. Farmers will henceforth be required to pay for the vaccines 100% as per option 1 because the cost is seemingly affordable. Government will, however, continue to meet the cost of vaccine importation, storage, distribution, and administration. Government will, in the next financial year, 24-25, create a revolving or buffer fund to kickstart the procurement of FMD vaccines for the entire 44 million susceptible domestic animal population. The farmers will be paying for them through a financial digital system managed by the Ministries of Finance and Local Government.
Parliament then passed a resolution for government to set up a foot and mouth vaccine production plant. And government promised to adhere to that. We are now being told by the minister, as part of his long-term strategy, that NARO should be supported for these vaccines to be produced locally. We would like the minister to have a bit of specificity. When you promise us here that you are fast-tracking production, what exactly does that mean?
This has come at the right time when we are in the budgeting process. We've just passed the budget framework paper. Now we are going into ministerial policy statements. I hope it is fully reflected because there is a willingness from cabinet, there's a willingness from parliament. So we should have a solution for this.
The Prime Minister, Robin Anabanja, said government is working with the International Organization for Migration to secure the release of Ugandans held hostage by rebel groups in Myanmar.
The traffickers recruit desperate Ugandans via fictitious websites. Most victims respond to an online advertisement for highly paying jobs in quotes in Thailand and Malaysia. And when they embark on the journeys, either by air or boats via the ports of Mombasa, they are received by traffickers at the designated places. They are then transferred to Myanmar via boats or road to rebel-controlled areas. Currently, the known records of Ugandans in rebel territories are 30.
These rebels operate compounds as camps, and many Ugandans are distributed in various camps within Myanmar. We still sustain and retain that the number of Ugandans from our counting is 450, and they are likely to be more.
However, IOM promised that they are going to engage. IOM means International Organization for Migration. And they are going to help us get in touch with the government of Myanmar and see how our youth can be rescued, because they have rescued some. I'm told in Uganda here they have rescued like 4.
Establishing bilateral relations is a comprehensive and a longer process. These are Ugandans who are at risk of life and death. We must look at immediate and remedial and urgent measures to rescue these stranded Ugandans. And Chair, to this, Honorable Speaker and members, to this effect, it is our humble proposal that this Parliament can institute an ad hoc committee to urgently address this matter.
House adjourned to Tuesday at 2 p.m.